Good morning. I'm Hidalgo County Judge Richard F. Cortez. I am the chairman of Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1. Today's board meeting is being conducted within the parameters of Governor Greg Abbott's suspension of certain open meeting law requirements to the extent necessary to allow for telephonic or video conference meetings in response to this COVID-19 matter. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. The board is meeting by the use of Zoom software and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communications for members of the public during public comments. This meeting is being broadcast live online. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. The time now is 9:46, and I call the meeting to order. We will begin with a roll call to establish quorum with precinct number 1.
Good morning, David Fuentes, precinct 1.
Eddie Cantu, precinct 2.
Eli Torres, precinct 4.
And Rich Cortez, County Judge. That constitutes a quorum. We would like to start with a prayer, Mr. Sassine.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, all. Let us pray. Father God, we seek your clarity and peace over all that is occurring in our country today, Lord. We know you're with us and for us as we gather together to seek your counsel, Lord. We continue to pray for the judge and 4 commissioners, Lord, that you've appointed to lead this great county of ours. We pray for our mayors, city council, police chiefs, district attorney, Lord, sheriff, judges, and all who serve our local communities, Lord. Strengthen them with wisdom and grace for the heavy burdens they carry, Lord. May they manage their teams and projects with love, keep their hearts pure and their eyes turned towards you as they face the work that they do in the best interest of the people they are called to serve, Lord. We continue to lift up the first responders, Lord, and the families, Father God. Give them your peace as they deal with the sick. We also we lift up those that are battling illnesses, Lord. We ask for your healing hand over them. Provide their families with peace that you can only bring, Lord. We praise you as well, Lord, for the healing hand that has come through you. We pray for peace over the families of those that have lost loved ones, Lord. Scripture reminds us, Lord, that as we seek you more, we will find you. Lead our surrendered hearts to the path of your peace today, Lord. Again, we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the open forum. Do we have anybody sign up for open forum?
No, sir, not for drainage.
Okay, then we have the approval of the consent agenda.
Yes,
Sorry,
Judge, on the
Judge.
consent agenda.
Raul?
Yes, sir, on the consent agenda, approval check register, some interfund transfers and approvals and discharge permits and some items that had been vetted by my county engineering team. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
Item
you.
5A.
Yes, sir. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding acceptance of ACD 1 to serve as the planning group sponsor for the Texas Water Development Board Region 15 Lower Rio Grande Valley, the Rio Grande Flood Planning Group. So this is the group that was created through the Water Development Board, and the board had appointed some members here locally. Jaime will cover that real quick. Go ahead.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. This morning, the district is pleased to announce that we are the sponsor group. The Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 is the sponsor group for the Texas Water Development Board Regional Flood Planning Group, Region 15. And just so you know, Region 15 consists of the following counties: Willacy, Cameron, Starr, Hidalgo, and Zapata. Covers those counties fully. Partial counties that it covers is Kennedy, Brooks, Jim Hogg, Webb County, Dimmitt County, Maverick, Kenny, Valverde, and Edwards. This was all part of efforts from General Manager Mr. Sassine, Mr. Fuentes, Commissioner Torres, when we were trying to push for the switching of the regions, and that was done earlier this year. So now we're proud to announce that we're the sponsors chairs. Last week we had our first meeting, and where they kind of went over the facilitation of information and the members. I believe we have 11 members on that committee right now, with being chaired by Commissioner Garza from Cameron County. Of course, Commissioner Fuentes is also part of the committee. And, we had our first meeting this past week and everybody was chosen. So now we're going to work towards working on our next agenda for our upcoming meeting on December the 3rd. Thank you to the board of directors for your support for this. And we're still working on getting funds for our area for flooding. Thank you all. At this time, we'll entertain any questions if you all have any reference to the sponsorship.
I want to congratulate you on those efforts as well. I know that we've got a good, strong regional representation in that flood planning group. I think it is an important piece of the puzzle for you guys to be the support group as we move forward in developing the flood plan for this area in the next couple of years. We have a tall task ahead of us, and I'm glad that you guys are going to be there to sponsor the organization. So very happy to have you guys be that organization. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to accept these nominations. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. 5A2, discussion, consideration, possible action authorizing HDD 1 to apply for grant funds and enter into contract with Texas Water Bill on behalf of Texas Water Bill Board Region 15, Lower Rio Grande Flood Planning Group.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 3, discussion, consideration, possible action authorizing HDD 1 to submit application for grant funding under FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant Program and authorization for general manager to execute all necessary paperwork to submit grant application.
Move for
moved.
approval.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 4, discussion, consideration, possible action authorizing board member Eli Torres to serve as first proxy and Mr. Saul Garcia to serve as second proxy of board member David Fuentes in the Texas Water Development Board's Region 15 Lower Rio Grande Flood Planning Group.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, requesting approval to purchase 2 new John Deere 250G long reach excavators to the district membership advisory board award contract number 597-19 from Doggett Heavy Machinery Service Ltd. in the total amount $522,000, reference procurement number ACDD 1-20055. These are equipment that are being purchased for our Restore Act project Rainbow Dream.
So move.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, requesting approval right of entry, parcel 24-E3 as it relates to project 24, the 2018 drainage pond program, mile 9 north and from 1015, project authority for the chairman of the board to execute document.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6A, 2018 bond referendum project, requesting approval of budget amendments to fund board approved contracts in Fund 134 Capital Project 2019 bond series in the amount of $17,307,539.78 from the undistributed account.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B, approval of payment of the following proceeding review and compliance contract terms and conditions. Application payment number 3 in the amount of $408,127.50. Science Brothers Construction LLC pertaining to construction contract number ACDD 1-19074-1126. Project engineer LNG Consulting Engineer.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 7A, approval to issue payment on the following items, proceeding review and compliance contract terms and conditions. Application for payment number 5 in the amount of $189,164.50 from Moreville LLC pertaining to construction contract number ACDD 1-19077-1203, Hidalgo County Precinct number 4J09, Phase 4 Road Drainage Development Project. Engineer, Mr. Mr. My office.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
8A, approval to issue payment on the following items, proceeding review and compliance contract terms and conditions. Application payment number 1 in the amount of $150,949.52 from Moreville LLC pertaining to construction contract number 20-021-0623, Las Milpas Hidalgo Park Estates. Project engineer, Mr. Sandilar from my office.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, requesting authority to advertise and approve request for proposal procurement packet A, legal notice of requirements, scope, service, evaluation criteria, et cetera, as attached here too for financial advisory service, RFP number ACD 120691202, including the re-advertisement of the project in the event proposals are rejected or no response are received, services are still required.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, requesting authority to advertise and approve procurement packet, a legal notice, specification, draft contract, et cetera, as attached here too, for documentation number one, seller removal of field dirt from the Crimson Pond location north of Kelly Road between Circle 6th Street and Rancho Brasil Road in Tenitas, Texas, RFP number ACD 120701202, including the re-advertisement of the project, the event bids are rejected, no bids are received, and project is still required.
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
9A, requesting approval of closing documents, parcel 2-5, as it relates to project 2 of the 2018 drainage bond program, 3 3/4 mile road and Shubak Road project. That's why the chairman of the board execute documents subject to final legal review.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 10A, requesting approval of final negotiated professional service agreement, SMB Infrastructure Limited, as it relates to professional engineering service for the project TCQ Rainbow Drain Project Phase 2, Restore Act project, approved for negotiations by the board of directors on agenda item 76596, subject to legal review.
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 2, pursuant to the board's approval of the professional service agreement with SMB Infrastructure Limited, requesting approval of work position number 1 in the amount of $500,415.83 to provide engineering service for TCQ Rainbow Drain Project Phase 2 Restore Act project, subject to legal review. Contract CACD 120-047-1110.
Move for approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 10B, 1, requesting approval of final negotiated agreement number CACD 120-066-1110 with BDC Engineering LLC for professional construction management services for Hidalgo County Drainage No. 1, TCQ Rainbow Drain Project Phase 2 Restore Act, and that's approved for negotiations by the board of directors on agenda item 77869, subject to final legal review.
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B2, requesting acceptance and approval of work position number 1 for the provision of professional construction management service for the Hidalgo County Drainage No. 1, TCQ Rainbow Drain Project Phase 2 Restore Act, the amount of $168,919.96 for award contract number CACD 120-066-1110 with BDC Engineering LLC.
Move for approval?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
We don't have anything on closed session today.
Okay, well then I believe that concludes all of our agenda items. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Judge, before we adjourn, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Judge.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you. I feel very, very lucky, very blessed to continue to have good health, and I enjoy working with all of you. Thank you.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Gracias.
Move
At
to adjourn.
my age, every one of them is a good one, believe me.
I hear you.
Okay,
Motion to
may I have a
adjourn.
motion to approve?
Motion
I
to
mean,
adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn, excuse me, at a senior moment there. We have a motion second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you much.
I believe it's already time to start a commissioners court meeting. So good morning. I'm Hidalgo County Judge Richard F. Cortez. Today's commissioners court meeting is being conducted within the parameters of Governor Greg Abbott's suspension of certain open meeting law requirements to the extent necessary to allow for telephonic and video conference meetings in response to this COVID-19 matter. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. The court is meeting by the use of Zoom software and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for members of the public during public comments. This meeting is being broadcasted live online. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. The time now is 10 o'clock, and I will call the meeting to order. We will begin with a roll call to establish quorum with precinct number 1.
Good morning, David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Cantu, Precinct 2.
Ellie Torres, Precinct 4.
Richard Cortez present, that constitutes a quorum. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Today, the prayer will be led by the Honorable Lita Leo.
Dear Lord, please fill us with peace and understanding as we stand before you and pray to receive your continued blessings. We ask you, Lord, to remain by our side as our community strives to overcome the challenges that the COVID-19 virus has placed on us. We also ask that you offer your strength to those mourning their loved ones and offer patience to those going through difficult times. Lord, please inspire vigilance and patience in our community as we do our best to continue serving our neighbors. We also ask for your blessings on our veterans who continue to make our country safe by their willingness to sacrifice their lives for our freedom. To all the brave women and men, brave men and women, we salute you and we thank you for your service. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lita. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda.
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, I'd like to pull from consent agenda items 11J and 11S.
Okay, I have a motion
Make a
to
motion to
approve.
approve the rest of the consent.
Hold on, can we clarify? Did he say 11A?
J.
J and F.
11J as in Jack and 11S as in Sam.
I don't see that. I see a 12, but I don't see an 11.
I'm sorry, 12, 12S and 12J. My apologies.
Okay.
Okay, let the record show that we're excluding 12J and F from the consent
S.
agenda.
S as in Sam, S.
Oh, S. Well, okay. Let's try one more time. We're excluding 12J and S
Yes.
from the consent agenda. And can we have a re-motion for the?
I make a
approval
motion
of
to
balance?
approve the rest of the consent.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The Judge, Commissioners, with respect to 11J,
12J.
it is the purchase of parks and recreation equipment installation for Playscape through Byboard Corp. Contract number 592-19, the awarded vendor. And this is again for the Park Place Recreation Designs for the San Manuel Veterans Park in Precinct 4. And that's for $92,738.40. This should have been under regular. We could have
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And consent agenda item 11S is for the Sheriff's Office. The staff is recommending approval subject to the receipt of Form 1295.
Oh, they did.
I think it's 12S.
S.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Motion
off
to
today.
approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Do we have anybody sign up for open forum?
Mr. Gutierrez.
Yes, sir. We have Ms. Fern McClarity.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, Ms. Fern. There is a 3-minute time limit under open forum. I will advise when there is 1 minute left. I will start when you start.
Commissioners, as you know, one of our primary concerns has been the expenditure of public funds, especially as it is related to staff salaries. It is also as if all the commissioners have decided to address the problem of poverty by increasing staff salaries. I am not sure where this idea came from, but it is definitely not true. Increasing salaries helps one person, or in this case, the county, 3,500 people, but increasing the pressure on the 1.2 million who are paying the tax. In 2020, this fact is particularly important because the county sold $360 million in bond for the new courthouse. I would like to say that this is all we are going to spend on the courthouse, but no, not at all. It keeps growing each and every day. Combined with increasing salaries in the number of new employees, we are told that they are temporary positions related to the virus, but deaths have been averaging about one a day and continue to decline. When compared with the population of 1.2 million, that is not significant, certainly not sufficient to continue the shelter-in-place order. The bottom line concerns the shelter order is that the county needs more time to spend the money. That is why people must stay home and wear a mask. It's all about the money. As staff costs increase, it is my understanding that the Board of Judges will recommend that the county increase the salaries of the court reporters and the county auditor again. These are the same court reporters that received an increase of $98,000 early last year, and they may earn an additional income by charging for services performed during working hours or after hours. Is this true that the Board of Judges heard a presentation that could have computerized the court reporter system, but it was ignored by the judges? In reference to the county auditor, the increase would also include 2 assistants that are performing the same job. Is it true that the county auditor has not been in the office for the past 9 months or so? Is this a question, the ability to perform the job? I'm getting a lot of phone calls. The county commissioner court should also review the policy that allows individuals to profit from work performed by full-time employees during work hours. If they decide that it is reasonable function for the county to perform the revenue should go to the county. This is for the marriages that judges do. Shouldn't go in their pocket. It should go to the county. Also, I heard today that Pfizer has a 90% effective rate for a vaccine. So it won't be long, maybe this month, that the county can open up to the public. I've been told the county is open, but the courthouse isn't open. No courts are going. Commissioner's Court is empty today, and we again are out here in the hallway.
Just for clarity time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is the approval of proclamation honoring our veterans today. I believe we have Mr. Felix Rodriguez with us, or Sam Pettis.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Mr. Pettis.
Good morning.
Felix will be joining us here shortly.
Okay.
Good morning. Happy birthday, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. It's good to have a common birthday with the Marine Corps also, I believe.
As a matter of fact, Judge, Commissioners, que Dios te preste mucha vida y salud, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
We have this proclamation that we want to present to Commissioners Court on this very special occasion, Judge. It's a proclamation honoring veterans on Veterans Day. Whereas one of the greatest acknowledgments of our freedom is by honoring our armed forces veterans who have sacrificed and in many instances paid the ultimate price for our freedom. And whereas there are an estimated 1.5 million veterans in Texas and 20,000 veterans in Hidalgo County, and whereas along with millions of other Americans, we can attest to the importance of veteran sacrifices and contributions for our freedom and security, and whereas Hidalgo County currently assists 5,161 veterans in obtaining entitled benefits from the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and state of Texas, the veteran population is recognized for not only their contributions to the social, economic, and political successes through the community programs, but also for their selfless obligation, which does not end after their time in uniform. And whereas both men and women of our armed forces continue to be an inspiration to all of us through their demonstration of courage, leadership, and commitment in service to our community and country. The County of Hidalgo currently employs 102 veterans in 25 different departments. And whereas November 11th is remembered around the world as Armistice or Remembrance Day, it marks the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month when World War I officially came to an end in 1918. In the United States, November 11th is known as Veterans Day by an act of Congress in 1975, which honors all of our nation's veterans, those living and those who have passed on. And whereas we in Hidalgo County will always remember and pay homage to our military community, both active and inactive, for their contribution, dedication, and commitment to the cause of our freedom. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in observance of Veterans Day, Wednesday, November the 11th, 2020, Hidalgo County Commissioners Court proudly joins the rest of our nation to salute and give special honor and recognition to the men and women who served us in our armed forces. Approved this 10th day of November, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge, forgive me, please, for interfering. Judge, may I have my staff, the veterans in our veteran services, introduce themselves by name and branch only, please?
Please, we insist on you all doing that.
Please. Samuel.
Samuel Perez, U.S. Air Force, 2002 to 2010, Iraq War veteran. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for this proclamation. And thank you for supporting our Broken Arrow and Bravo Zulu. You're helping our community tremendously.
Raymond.
Raymond Herrera, and, U.S. Navy veteran.
Alma.
Alma Martinez, U.S. Navy veteran, 2001 to 2010.
Victor.
Victor Torres, United States Marine Corps veteran, 2014 to 2019.
Alejandro. Alex.
You're on mute, Alex.
There you go.
Alejandro Figueroa, United States Marine Corps to 1997 to 2000, Kosovo. Happy birthday, Judge. And yes.
Good to have you.
Juan.
Good morning. Juan Manuel Aguillon, the United States Army Iraq veteran. Thank you.
I think we have some veterans over there with Commissioner Torres.
Yes, sir, we do. I will have them introduce themselves and the branch that they served in.
Victor Reyes, Army.
Roberto Martinez Jr., Navy, 83 to 89.
Orlando Macias, U.S. Army.
Robert Diaz, United States Army.
And we're very proud that they are part of the Precinct 4 family. And we thank them for their service. And we honored them this morning with a nice little breakfast.
There you go. Well, no me tates, Commissioner. Well, let me tell you that Hidalgo County should be extremely proud. We have a very patriotic number of veterans and people in our county that have served our country for many, many, many years. They're a tremendous sense of pride, as our Veterans Office is to us. And all of us here in the Commissioner's Court applaud you, thank you for all the great things that you do for our communities to keep us safe. Did we miss anyone else?
Yes, sir, we have. You're being too modest, Judge. You yourself, you didn't introduce yourself as a veteran.
It was my birthday today, so I want to stay quiet. I don't want to tell anybody how old I am. Okay? So I want to stay incognito. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Judge, if I may,
Thank you.
Judge, if I may, I just wanted to thank all of our Veterans Affairs, people that work in that office and how they're assisting all of our veterans. And it's not only in Hidalgo County, but they tend to serve people outside of our area and jurisdiction as well because of their continued service to others. So we want to thank them not only for their service to their country and providing us the freedoms that we have and enjoy on a daily basis, but also what they do to help our veterans here locally. And I know I don't have my staff around me because some of them are traveling and out of the office, but I do have 5 veterans: Jose Luis Villarreal, Edward Hernandez, George Peña, Mayor David Suarez, Guadalupe Martinez in Precinct 1. And then at the constable's office, I have Greg Phillips, George Garrett, and Jason Rivera, along with the other veterans. Obviously, thank you to them for their continued service to our precinct and to our county. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Felix, thank you very much. You guys do a great job. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, Judge. God bless you all and God bless America.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday, Judge.
Thank you. Next item is item 6B.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. This is Laura Matamoros from the County Judge's Office. Item 6B, discussion, consideration, and action on the Texas Enterprise Zone Program Mandatory Annual Report Form and authority for Laura Matamoros County designee to sign all related documents. This is a state mandatory form requested by the state for informational purposes. As a county, we do have incentives available, such as tax abatements, but we do not have any enterprise zone activity. We're requesting approval to sign and submit the mandatory annual state report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, if I may, item 7, we should have representatives on the Zoom from Purdue Brandon. And this is presentation of fees and fines report for the period of January 1st, 2020 through September 30th of 2020.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
My name is Dan Romo. I'm the Director of Business Development for our Fines and Fees Division. I'm happy to report and give y'all a collection update regarding our JP collection and collections for the County Clerk's Office, for the county courts of law and the district courts. I'll start off with the JP report. We currently are collecting for JPs 21, 22, 31, 32, 41, 42, and 51. We began our implementation process in working with the various county departments in January, and working with the Tyler Technologies and the Odyssey system, working with the IT department, working with the county auditor's office, and developing our program, getting all our ducks in a row. We conducted our first mailing in February, which is what we did, the warrant roundup program, and we did that for 4 of the 7 JP courts starting out. We had a very good response to that mailing, and then unfortunately, as we all know, in March, due to COVID and the pandemic and everything that's going on for almost all of our clients, we suspended mailings. Obviously, we were evaluating the climate of COVID and not knowing what was going to happen. And as we all kind of realized, this thing kind of took a lot longer than we all thought. So in July, we went back to the JP courts to kind of evaluate things to see, what was the pulse of the court as far as us resuming collections. And so after approval with the JP courts, we resumed our collection notices. And so we were able to start back up collections. After that mailing, we visited with the JP courts just to kind of see how things were going. And we were surprised that actually there was a lot of response to the mailings. The courts were able to work with the defendants. Obviously, a lot of the JP courts, they have, they've had to deal with, closing of the offices, limiting their staff, and dealing with defendants in a different fashion. So obviously that has greatly impacted stuff. But basically they were encouraging most of the defendants to take care a lot of their obligations through the county's online payment or service, and obviously, dealing with a lot of phone and email. So the courts have having to transition and deal with a lot of changes there. Our activities since we started, just to kind of so y'all can see kind of what kind of goes on behind the scenes. We mailed a little over 30,000 letters. We had address updates, over 18,000 address updates. Skip tracing is a really big part of the collection service, where we're always trying to get the latest and best address and phone numbers so we can make contact. We had over 1,000 contacts with defendants. Of course, a lot of defendants are always going to contact the JP courts to get more additional information, so they're able to kind of know what's outstanding on their part. Collections on the turnover, and this is including the collection fee. Right now, it's at $56.8 million. Of that, cash collected for the county, we collected $1.35 million, and with a dismiss rate of a little over 188,000 on a dismiss rate. Sometimes that's going to be, jail credit or community service or waiving of fees or stuff of that nature, or some cases that came over an error that were already closed out, stuff of that nature. Our total resolution rate is a little over 1.5 million. I do want to say, considering that we're in a COVID year and based upon the other 105 counties that we represent around the state, this was actually pretty good. I was surprised to see the numbers compared to a lot of the other counties. The numbers were greatly reduced compared to previous years. Do y'all have any questions regarding JPs before I move over to the county courts at law and district court collections? If not, then I'll move on there. We began our implementation for the county clerk's office in June. They waited a little bit longer because of COVID, they were trying to deal with a lot of the challenges that were going on there. So we started our implementation phase there in June and working with the software, iPlow, and the in-house collections department. And so we started our first mailing for them just recently in October. And visiting with the in-house collections department staff, they got a very good response off our first mailing. So that was very encouraging with those collections there. As you can see, activities, almost 5,000 letters, a little over 1,300 address updates, and 39 phone contacts. Of course, with your in-house collections department, county court at law collections, and district court, those are usually a lot more serious offenses and usually have much higher balances. So typically those defendants are usually going to contact in-house collections department, which is good because what we want is we either want them to contact us or want them to contact you. We just want to be able to make contact. And so that way we can establish some type of communication with them and how they can resolve their fines with the county. For the county courts at law and district court, the turnover was 5.75 million. Of that, we've collected a little under 1,000, and almost a little over 19,000 was dismissed. Total resolution of 20,000. Again, these are much smaller folks there that are being turned over. However, the volumes are much higher. These defendants owe a lot more money than your typical fines and fees that you see in JPs. And the return rate usually is much less on these individuals. But we just started out, and so we're continuing to keep working with that. In closing, we're going to continue our efforts with the JP courts and the other departments. As we just started out this contract, we're continuing to keep improving upon the processes and working out the little bugs here and there as we're dealing with the software. We meet quarterly with the JP offices and the county clerk's office. We always want to make sure that we're doing everything right, that there's no issues. So we are constantly monitoring and keeping up with them, especially with what's going on with COVID. As I mentioned before, Purdue branded us as a firm. We are constantly evaluating the climate of the pandemic and seeing how things go. And so if our clients feel that, we need to slow down or back off or move forward, then obviously we're going to do those things for our clients. But as far as kind of what we're seeing, the mailings have been successful for both offices. And so we're going to just continue to keep, working towards collections. Collections, as y'all know, is not an easy business. And so we're just going to keep doing what we do best and keep working on these accounts and let the JP offices and the in-house collections department continue to keep working for the defendant, especially with those that are, going through hard times or any of the issues that regarding COVID. They're obviously going to continue to keep working with the defendants like they always do. And I do want to commend y'all's JP offices and your county clerk's offices, obviously dealing with a lot of challenges with the pandemic and dealing with defendants and trying to, work on the fly and how to develop better communication with your defendants. So I believe that we're working and we got a really good partnership going with all the offices there in Hidalgo County. And, we appreciate the opportunity to continue to keep working and providing some much needed revenues for you guys. Happy to answer any questions for y'all.
Are there any questions for anyone? Well, we thank you for your service. I know these are hard times when it comes to collecting when everyone's struggling.
Judge, just while we're on the topic, I have a question for Valde, or if Valde can look into something for me. A couple of JPs don't participate, which is their prerogative. I don't have a problem with that. But does that affect the people in that areas with respect to scofflaw? In other words, do they stay in the scofflaw system longer, or is it more detrimental to those people because of that? Can you look into that, Valde?
Yes,
and
sir.
If you don't understand my question or comment, you can call me later.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And Commissioner, I do want to comment on that. We have been in contact with both of the Westlaco JP offices. And so we've been kind of just giving them information, and they're kind of, visiting with the other JP offices, just kind of knowing how our program is. And so we've been working with them, and I think that, they're pretty much looking to jump on board at the end of the year. And so we're continuing communicating with them to try to get them on board as well.
And like I said, I believe it's their prerogative. I just have a concern because, people in precinct 2, when, they get behind on their ticket or their tickets escalate in price because, for whatever reason, I know it's detrimental because they can't drive, they can't go to work. And so that was my only concern is, does it affect them scofflaw wise in that precinct more than in others?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've learned in doing this for 20 years is, the JP offices are always going to work with defendants. They're always going to try to find a way to work with them. The problem is sometimes defendants don't ever communicate back with the various courts, and they just, it's 2, 3 years, 4-year-old ticket, and then, they ever try to communicate back with the court. So we always encourage defendants, hey, just go and talk to these folks. They're going to find ways to try to work with you. And so that's what we find is these courts are going to figure out, the ones that can't pay and the ones that can. So,
yeah, it's horrible. I mean, you think of somebody making $400 and their ticket's $150. I mean, that's life changing, and so I just concerned about that.
Well, I know that obviously, again, all the courts around Texas are all having to deal with this, and so I know that they are working with defendants as much as they can. You just have to get the defendants to come in and to make communication with the court to try to work something out. Again, they're always open to working with all your defendants.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
have a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8A, District Attorney's Office.
Good morning, Commissioners. Judge Rosalinda Cantu presenting from the District Attorney's Office. Item 8A, requesting acceptance and approval of purchase of challenge coins for employee recognition for years of service with the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 8B, discussion, consideration, and action acknowledging the memorandum of understanding between the Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney's Office and the Young Hearts Matter campaign and the BCFS, Health and Human Services.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, Victims Unit Director Rosie Martinez would like to say a few words regarding this MOU.
Please.
He should be logging on right now. Commissioners, if you'd like, I can proceed to item 8C and come back.
Please.
I'm here, Rose.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Judge. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak briefly on this new MOU that we're gonna partner with BCFS. BCFS has been in our county providing services to youth that are at risk. And we have spearheaded the Young Hearts Matter campaign for many years now, going on 6 years. And this is great work that we're going to be doing now, because now we actually have funding to be able to provide this type of services to schools, to different schools within our county and to the community at large. So we want to thank Commissioners Court and the County Judge for their continued support. And we hope that we can embark in more partnerships to be able to expand the Young Hearts Matter campaign that is focused on providing prevention education to youth on teen dating violence and other violent crimes that are perpetrated against children.
Well, thank you very much for everything that you do for us.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I be excused?
You sure may.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Item 8C, DA Domestic Violence Specialty Prosecutor Grant, Fund 1281. We're asking for approval to submit a Domestic Violence Specialty Prosecutor Grant number 2931306 budget adjustment to the Office of the Governor.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
May I move on to item 9A?
Yes, ma'am, you may.
We're asking 9A, we're asking for approval to set fee schedule for administrative fees for the Hidalgo County Forensic Center.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve those fee schedules. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. This is Sergeant Josh Coltenbach, Sheriff's Office. Item 10A, Operation Stone Garden, fiscal year 2019. Authorization to request a grant adjustment for a 6-month extension for Sheriff's Office, fiscal year 2019. Operation Stone Garden, grant number 3172205. Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 1, grant number 3174705. Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 2, grant number 3174805. Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 3, grant number 3174905. And Hidalgo County Constable Precinct 4, grant number 3175005, with authority for county judge to certify adjustments on e-grant.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 10B, fiscal year 2020 JAG program. Number 1 is approval to accept the fiscal year 2020 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant award from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, DOJ, OJP, in the amount of $38,113 for the period of October 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2023. And we have part 2 also, which is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2020 JAG grant in the amount of $38,113 and appropriation of same.
Move for
Motion to-
approval on 10B, 1 and 2.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for 10B, 1 and 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, item 10C, requesting approval of payment for the following invoice as submitted by LNG Consulting Engineers Incorporated for geotechnical engineering services of a bus barn for the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office through the current agreement contract C-18-228-10-09, work authorization number 3, and the PO number is 821942. Invoice date of October 27, 2020. Invoice number is 20-10-000002. And the amount is $2,117.97.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, that's all we have. Thank you, sir. Okay, we have one more here. It's going to be
10D. There's 10G.
yeah, we have 10D here. It's Sheriff Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Activities, the LETPA grant 1284. One says authorization and approval to accept the fiscal year 2020 grant award from the Office of the Governor, Homeland Security Grants Division for the period of September 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2021, in the amount of $10,000. And then part 2 of that is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2020 law enforcement terrorism prevention activities, LETPA grant in the amount of $10,000 and appropriation of same.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. That's all Sheriff's
Thank you
Office.
very much. Constable Precinct 3. Larry?
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, let me present for Constable Precinct 3. This is a discussion, consideration, approval to appoint Amadeo Garza Jr. as Deputy Constable by Lázaro Gallardo Jr., Constable Precinct 3, in accordance with Texas Local Government Code 86.011.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Silguero.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner, Mr. Guerra, Raul Silguero, Human Resources. Judge, item A is not required. We don't need approval of those waivers for item B. Item 12B for the Community Service Agency. The department is asking for approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period. The department is asking to delete slot number 003, accountant 4 at the listed salary, and to create instead a slot 0073, division manager 2, grants accounting. Judge, Commissioners, the position, the first one is equivalent to a grade 14. The one that's being created is equivalent to a grade 16. The grades are not listed. This is a non-classified department. We haven't classified, but they sort of follow the step and grade system that we have in the county. The position is needed because the accountant 4 is not appropriate. There are 9 employees in that department that handle the accounting and financial reports and management of that. So we recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Mr.
Thank you,
Guerrero.
Judge, Commissioners.
Mr. Avila.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. For item 13A, we have a public hearing. For 13A1, to hold a public hearing to consider the public comments for Hidalgo County, Urban County Programs 2019 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report prior to submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay, I hereby call the public hearing to order to consider any comments on this Urban Counties Program 219 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Has anybody signed up or have any comments? Hearing none, I close the public hearing.
And for item 13A2, request for authorization to submit the 2019 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
For item 13B, the Irving County Program requests approval of the Emergency Solutions Grant Program subrecipient agreements with the following nonprofit agencies for program year 33, retroactive effective September 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2021, with Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley, Women Together Foundation, Inc., and the Salvation Army of McAllen, Hidalgo County.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
For item 13C, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, the Irving County Program is requesting consideration and action to award and into a construction contract with 2GL's LLC DBA Earthworks, which is the lowest responsible bidder in the amount of $500,000, utilizing the Irving County Program funds fiscal years 30 through 33. These are for the Benita Street Improvement funds. It's going to be paving approximately almost 4 miles.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And for item 13D, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, the Irving County Program is requesting approval and best final negotiated contract for professional services with Javier Hinojosa Engineering in the amount of $99,515, utilizing CDBG fiscal year 31 and 32, Hidalgo flood drainage improvements funding, and approval of work authorization number 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
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 Carries.
And for item 13E, subject to compliance with House Bill 1295, the Irving County Program is requesting approval of best and final negotiated contract for professional engineering services with SAM Engineering and Surveying in the amount of $29,795, utilizing CDBG fiscal year 33, City of San Juan Street Improvements Funds, and approval of work authorization number 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Alamo. I believe next item, there will be no action taken, so we'll move to item 15A.
Yes, item 15A, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, section 157.903, requesting approval of indemnification in the amount of $25 for a shortage of 25 on July 2019 and for unaccounted fees for permit number 69149. Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 15B, A1-77975, number 1, requesting authorization and approval to apply for water services with North Alamo Water Supply for location of ongoing roadway improvements at La Quinta Lane, north of Curry Road, about 20 feet from the fire hydrant within precinct 4. And number 2, can I do them together?
Of course.
Yes. And number 2, approval of payment to North Alamo Water Supply in the amount of $600 for the utility deposit and connection fee to set up water meter for the location of ongoing roadway improvements at La Quinta Lane, north of Curry Road, about 20 feet from the fire hydrant within precinct 4, with authority for the county treasurer to issue a check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor. Motion to approve.
Second.
Yeah, motion and second to approve item 15B 1 and 2. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Cruz.
Judge, Commissioners, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget and Management. Item 16A is approval of salary schedule change in accordance with the Hidalgo County Classification and Composition Pay Plan effective 11/9/2020 and in calendar year 2021. This is for a discretionary step. This is just to make sure we have the salary schedule change approval. This is something that court approved already last week.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 16B, discussion, consideration, and action to approve the ratification of necessary CARES Act relief fund expenditures as listed on Exhibit A, totaling $375,107.61 to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item, allotment, or allocation in connection with the ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditures are reasonable and necessary for the intended use.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 16C is approval of the following salary schedule change effective 10/12/2020 and in calendar year 2021, which is the creation of a longevity allowance slot for a probation officer in the juvenile probation department.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 16D1, approval of 2020 appropriation of funds for the Justice Court Tech Fund, unassigned fund balance in the amount of $370,838.95. And this is for the purchase and installation of laptops for the constable's patrol vehicles.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 16D2, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for funds received by the city of Alton in relation to an interlocal agreement approved by Commissioners Court on October 20th, 2020 for the overlay of various road sections in the amount of $144,062.32 and appropriation of the same.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 16D3, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for revenues received from interest earnings from the CARES Act relief funds in the amount of $63,272.81 and appropriation of the same.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
And the last item, 16D4, approval of 2020 appropriation of funds from the County Clerk's Record Management Fund, unassigned fund balance in the amount of $200,000 to fund record management and document imaging services rendered by the CoFile Systems Incorporated.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Cruz.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
And we have a drum roll for Marty Salazar.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. 17A1A, discussion, consideration, and action to approve a necessary CARES Act relief fund expenditure to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item, allotment, and allocation for the COVID-19 production of 8 video public service announcements in order to assist with county functions to facilitate compliance with public health measures addressing the ongoing COVID-19 emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditure is reasonable and necessary for the intended use.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item B is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262-024A1 and 2 is posted on the agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item C is presentation for acceptance and approval of the second amendment to the current consulting contract as posted on the agenda between Hidalgo County and Absolute Business Consulting Group to reflect additional services to contract, and it's subject to the finalization of the reactivation of the SAM.gov for the vendor.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 2A is presentation by Ms. Margaret Somerville or Mr. Bill Starnes for Commissioners Court action on a resolution for Hidalgo County, Texas adopting TCAP's Professional Services Agreement and JEXA's Energy Commercial Electric Service Agreement to provide on and after January 1st, 2023, including the strategic hedging program procurement approach. And I believe we have both of them on standby to make the presentation.
Bill, Margaret, please proceed.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for letting us have a few moments this morning to tell you about our strategic program for purchasing. I'm just going to, Bill, if you can share your screen.
Yes, I thought I was. Do you see it now?
No.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. How about now?
No.
No? Oh, goodness.
Valde, do you want to ask Jonathan to allow them to share?
Yeah, I'll kind of
get
involved here to get our IT people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Guerra, the option is on.
Okay. So it's still not working?
No, you put in the middle of the screen, Bill, at the share screen.
Uh-huh.
Press that.
Okay, I got that.
And now press the PowerPoint.
Okay, which I'm doing. Let's see if this works. Is that working?
It's
yes, sir.
working.
There you go. You just started.
Okay. How about that?
There you go. So we will just real
Okay,
briefly, go over the contract options for 2023. As we are very excited that Hidalgo County has a contract with TCAP through the end of 2022. But just real briefly, some of the options, as well as just to bring everyone up to date on who TCAP is. We're a nonprofit organization, and we pool our 1.1 billion kilowatts for our energy procurements. What we're able to do is we're able to purchase in the wholesale market. The reason we're able to do that is because we are a nonprofit political subdivision corporation, and we are an aggregator. So we are constantly looking for ways to save our members money, either through contract language, pricing, or even energy efficiency. And our board of directors is elected from our membership, which is made up of political subdivisions throughout the ERCOT area. You can see we have 166 members of TCAP. 54 members are in the South Zone, which is pretty much everything south of San Antonio. And we have 15 members in the Rio Grande Valley. Next slide.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it over to Bill to let you hear about why we're doing these different options and a new option that we're rolling out to our members. And I'm going to let him take it over.
Okay. Thank you, Margaret. Just real quick, this is just a quick slide to show you probably what you already know, which is that our supplies of oil and natural gas are looking very, very good for the future. Left is the DOE production forecast for natural gas in blue and oil in orange, and the pricing forecast from them on the right-hand side. And you can see both are extremely stable, and we're just predicting increasing supplies of both. This will also hold true for electricity in Texas for at least the next few years. ERCOT is predicting to have increasing supplies. And in fact, the DOE is predicting that the cost of energy for electricity, the energy portion, not the wires portion, is actually going to be declining over the next few years. So the thing to take away from this is just that we have a very bright energy future. We're currently the largest producer of oil and gas in the world, and that's probably not going to change anytime in the near future. So what we are proposing to our members is to change how we purchase a little bit to try to get increasing savings for our members. This is a graph of pricing recently, sometime in October, and on a year-by-year basis. And you can see the front years were a little bit higher, 21 and 22, and then it falls to its lowest point in 2023 and starts to rise back up. The short-term pricing is higher because of market uncertainty. The market feels like in a year or two, all the issues that are creating market uncertainty will be solved and everything's going to be fine, and that's why the price is lower. As you go out over time, you start to add increasing fuel cost, increasing carrying charges, and risk premiums, because the market is not sure that the current low prices are going to hold forever. So they're going to start asking you, the farther you try to purchase out, the little bit more they're going to ask for in price. So that's why you see this curve like it is. And you can see the green checks. That's the area we think are best to buy in, instead of trying to buy way, way into the future and locking in those higher prices. To give you an example of how that works, if you think about a 5-year contract that for 2023, because your current contract goes through 2022, you would actually be locking in those prices and averaging them out over time. So why do you want to lock down those higher prices if you know you're in a well-supplied market that every indication is pricing should be good and maybe even be decreasing some, as we've seen probably in ERCOT. So our new program is going to focus more on buying 1 year at a time, 2 years in the future, to capture that low spot in the market. So starting in 2021, we're going to start buying for 2023. In 2022, we'll buy for 2024, et cetera, et cetera. This SHP program that does this, if you look on the left-hand side, there's some mechanics. We're going to be buying by actually requesting bids from wholesale suppliers. We have a pool of over 20 plus investment grade wholesale suppliers that we're going to be requesting bids from, and we'll choose the lowest of those bids. We're going to have at least 4 bidders in each monthly procurement and at least 4 bidders in every annual portfolio of energy that we pass on to our members. We're going to buy monthly in 1/12 increments. That's to try to avoid guessing when the best time to buy in the market is. We're going to treat this more like you invest for retirement, where you take a little bit out of every paycheck and put it in. It's kind of a dollar cost averaging approach. And our analysis has shown that will keep you at a very, very low price range compared to market, trying to follow and guess the market volatility. We're going 2 years ahead so that you will know your price prior to the fiscal year when you have to start budgeting. And we're making this a very flexible program. If at any point in time, we have 2 times a year, June and December, that we've identified that we will come to you and say, if you want to get out of this program and convert to a fixed price, we can do it at that point in time. So that's kind of the basics, mechanics of how that program works. On the right-hand side, we're showing you just on a typical 5-year contract, like you're under a shorter term now, but if you went to sign for a 5-year contract, we'll just probably wait till sometime in the early spring, maybe late winter, late February, sometime early March, when we think the price in the markets have typically been very low, and we'll go out and try to negotiate that best 5-year deal we can get for you at that point in time. Again, we'll be getting that price from the wholesale market, as we mentioned. So real quickly, I don't want to get into too much detail, but this is kind of a timeline series of what I've been talking about. Starting in January of 2021, if you're in the SHP program, we'll start monthly procurements for 2023. And at the end of the year in December, we'll get the last procurement. And you see the little blue line at the top. We'll add those together and convert them to a retail price. And in March of 2022, we're going to announce that price so that you know what you have to plan on for 2023 prior to your fiscal year budgeting. You see the 2 candy stripe months in 2022 and 2023. Those are those off-ramp events where we'll come to you and say, this is what we see in the market for a fixed price for the next 5 years. If you want to convert, we can make that happen now. So that in a nutshell and very quickly is how this program works. When we look at the options available to the county, we've looked at three things for y'all. One, we've looked at a blend and extend, taking your current contract and trying to get the rate lower for a year or 2 or 3 years additional, which we can do, but then you give up having access to what is currently a much lower price market for a couple of additional years. So you'll get a little bit of savings now, but you'll have to stay at a higher than market rate for probably a couple more years after that. And we've looked at that, and it certainly can give you some immediate savings, but we don't think it's your best option right now. Then we'll have the SHP approach, which I think, Margaret, 148 of our members have already signed up for, where you can buy when the price is most advantageous. And if you want to convert back, you can convert back to a fixed price. And we're also planning on this contract being 100% renewable too. And then finally, if you could do and just have a fixed price contract, we can come back to you sometime in the spring and give you, an idea of what the prices are looking like in the market, and you could do it at that point in time. So that's kind of the three options we look at for you right now. And I'm available to entertain any questions if you have any. I know that's a lot in a very short period of time, but I don't want to take too much of your time.
Bill, I do have some questions, and I will make available time for any commissioner to ask questions. But your projections as to the availability or supply of electricity is based on what you know today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's based on what ERCOT is projecting, and their latest projection. The market, ERCOT and the Public Utility Commission likes to see about 12% generation reserves above peak demand needs. And ERCOT's projecting between 14 and 20% over the next 5 years. So we should be very well supplied.
Okay. So do you expect any new players to come in to be generating more that will be adding more supply to the mix?
Yes, we have a large amount of new wind and solar coming into the mix. Not so much in natural gas, and certainly not any coal coming in, but we have a large amount of wind and solar.
Renewable energy versus fossil fuel coming from fossil fuel. Right.
Yes, okay. And that will help stabilize price. And I also want to mention, one of the reasons we're looking to buy shorter term is because we see new technologies coming into the market, such as batteries, that are going to start being introduced that will serve to help keep prices lower and probably would help drive prices down in the market in the long run. So we want to give you the advantage of being able to take advantage of those lower prices as they occur.
Okay, well, that's why I was asking the questions, because I believe I somewhat agree with you that a short-term contract is better than a long-term contract, specifically for those reasons that, supply and demand coming in. If you're having more supply, then they're going to be competing to sell their product to whomever has it, because we don't know what the demand is going to be. Okay.
Yes, sir. And if I don't mind, I'd like to add in real quick that I've done some quick research, because I know we're all kind of uncertain about possible changes in leadership in the government and what that could mean. And what I'm reading from the market publications I'm looking at now is that any sort of material changes to energy pricing policy and things would be probably about 4 to 5 years out before we start to see any change. And if we see that, we can come and tell you that it's time to convert to a fixed price before we see a material impact to y'all's pricing of that.
Okay. I have no other questions. I'll let the commissioners ask whatever they like.
Is this just a presentation, or are we making a decision today?
Commissioner, if I may, and I can have Ms. Summer-Reeve confirm this, what is the latest date the county has in deciding whether to take one of these options? When is the last possible timeline for the county to entertain this option?
Actually, I'm going to turn that over to Bill. I know we can go through the end of November. I'm not sure about your meeting schedule, but it would be better if we could get it done the middle of November, especially if you're considering the SHP program, because Bill is going into the market starting in January, and we have to have all of the load set by January of who's in and who's not. And like Bill had said, we have 148 of our members that have already signed those documents. We do have several. We have 4 or 5 that are just taking a 5-year fixed contract. And then we have a couple that are on their meetings in the next couple of weeks to decide.
Okay, so a decision doesn't have to be made today. It could be as long as it's prior to the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and a couple more questions. Who's the biggest member in your co-op? Is it us or some other county?
Actually, the largest member we have is the city of Corpus Christi.
Are they bigger than us?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Are they bigger than us in terms of energy consumption?
Yes, Commissioner. They use about 137 million kilowatts a year. The county uses about 18 million.
To give you an idea of our 166 members ranked by size, you're number 16. So you're certainly very important and you know, a very good sized member here. You're in the large customer group.
And do we pay I mean, obviously we pay a kilowatt price, but are there also fees, or is it just the kilowatt price?
We do have a small aggregation fee that everyone pays. It is 1.2 mil of a cent per kilowatt.
So just as an example, if the kilowatt is, what is normal, like 3.5 cents? Is that one of the prices that I saw in the graph?
Yeah, if you were looking at a 3.5 cent price, add in our fee, it would be 3.62. So it'd go from 3.5 cents to 3.62.
Got it. And no other fees, just the aggregation fee.
That's it. And there's a lot of services that come with that aggregation fee. You get access to consultants, and we do a lot of work in the legislature and in the regulatory arena on behalf of you guys to make sure that we keep pricing in line and that policies are implemented to your benefit. Lots of other things. It's listed in a document I think that y'all have. But there's a number of services that come with that. It's not just a fee to go out and procure energy.
Well, the only thing I look at is the cost. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Those are all my questions.
Bill and Margaret, just for our own education, as I understand how the industry works, you have producers of electricity. Some are fossil fuels and some are renewable energies, which is a wind. And then somebody buys that electricity, because the producers are not necessarily the ones that sell it directly to the consumer. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. Some they can sell directly. They don't sell to the consumer. They sell to folks who sell to the consumers.
Right.
For the veterans that are going to be.
They'll sell to, do we call them a wholesaler?
Retail electric providers, we call them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, excuse me. I was going to say, Bill, do you have that other graphic that you could share?
Yeah, let me go back and see if I can get that happening.
I think this graphic will kind of answer your question, Judge. Like I had said earlier, the one thing that really sets TCAP apart is the fact that we do go into the wholesale market. We bypass the retail electric providers because we are a municipal aggregator. And so we do have a retail electric provider, but all they provide to us is billing. So as Bill had said, during our contracts, we get the lowest price. And even if we change the wholesaler and the price, we do not change our billing agent. So when you are at your homes, if you don't like your price or you don't like your customer service, you have to change your contract. And when you change your contract, you're changing your price. For us, because we've got a separate contract in the wholesale market, if for some reason Jex's customer service is not up to our standards, we can change our billing partner, but your energy price will stay the same. And as you can see here with TCAP on the right-hand side of this chart, we go into the entire market, into the wholesale market. As you can see, if you chose a retail electric provider, you've got the retail electric provider may go into the whole market. They may just go to their preference of suppliers. Brokers add another layer. And as you can see, there are no layers between you and the wholesale market with TCAP.
Well, I appreciate that information, and I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn your industry. But in the past, if we were to go to a regular retailer, and I'm not debating the merits of going one way or the other. I'm just trying to understand how all this thing works. If you have a contract for a certain amount of kilowatts, then I thought that we were paying kind of like insurance, a nodal. Did I say that correct? A nodal fee or charge to make sure that if we needed more, we could get more, or am I totally off on that?
We are okay if you need.
I'm not asking you what you do. I'm asking you the global system of how it works. When you have a fixed price contract, are you paying a premium to be able to buy more should you need more? The answer is either a yes or a no.
Oh, it's yes.
Okay, it's a yes. Okay. Yeah. So if we go to a retailer and we say, hey, we want you to guarantee me you sell us this amount of electricity, but golly, we just bought another courthouse or another big building, so we need more electricity. King's X, we need more. Okay, that's what this additional cost is intended to give us an opportunity that they have to sell it to us. Is this correct?
Yes, if you want the assurance to get it at the same price, you'll pay a little bit more. Correct.
Okay, so in the aggregation, in an aggregation system, since you've aggregated a lot of people, some people use more, some people use less, or whatever. Are we also paying for this fee or not?
No, you really don't have to, because our group is so big that, as you just mentioned, if somebody adds a courthouse, somebody somewhere else probably deletes a facility, and our load is very constant, and it gives our supplier the ability to give us a low price and still cover ups and downs, because we're such a large group.
Okay, and that was my understanding. I wanted to make sure that I didn't understand something that was incorrect, that I wanted to understand something that's incorrect. And I also understand that the producer of electricity sometimes sells all of his production to an investment broker. Let's say somebody that's got lots and lots and lots of money just buys all of their production and resells it to wholesalers, et cetera. Is that also true?
Yes, there are companies that will do nothing but buy energy from producers and resell it to people for retail use. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So when you're telling us that you have access to product, do you have access to product directly to the producer or to a financial person that buys electricity?
Both will be included in our group of suppliers.
But it would seem to me that if you go directly to the producer, you're going to be better off because you've eliminated a layer of cost.
In most cases, that's true. Every now and then you can get a deal from a reseller, but in most cases, that would be very true. Yeah.
So if we're one of the members of your aggregation pool, it seems to me that that you have a hybrid here, you were able to buy some without this additional cost and some with the additional cost because you couldn't serve everybody only buying from the one that produces it. Who gets the benefit?
Well, TCAP's not for profit, so any benefit goes directly to its members.
So you blend it, you give a blended cost?
Yes, we blend it in.
How can you give a blended cost if you have different members of your aggregation pool to have different contracts at different time periods?
Well, we don't. We have one contract. We go to the market with our load for one contract.
So all of your aggregation people are under the same on the same timeline?
Yes, sir. That's the reason that we're able to get better pricing is because we actually take that entire load to the market as one huge chunk of energy, and it gets a lot of attention.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. I want to make sure that what I thought I knew was correct.
A couple of questions about something that I'm getting more and more confused about, but needless to say, this graph doesn't imply that you guys can beat all prices, does it? In other words, there are other people that can, for whatever reason, get us a lower price. That's always possible, right?
Nobody can guarantee the lowest price.
No. I'm not asking. I'm saying that competitively, somebody can beat your price, right? You're not implying that because you're a co-op that you're always going to be cheaper than everybody else.
No, I could never guarantee that I would always be cheaper than everybody else. There's nobody that can guarantee that.
Right, and I'm just because this graph seems to imply that because you show nobody under you, and so it almost implies that nobody in the left-hand side of the graph could beat your prices, but that would be inaccurate, right?
I don't think I'm projecting any other person's prices than our own. So I'm not sure I understand the question, but
what I'm saying is that this graph seems to imply that because you have nobody under you, as opposed to a broker that has one person, which is $2 signs, with a broker with 3 reps under means $3 signs. You're not implying that those people cannot beat your price, are you?
No, I don't think anybody can guarantee anything. I mean, there's always a better price. Bill, just answer the question. And the question is, you don't know because somebody may want to compete and give us a better price. So the answer is yes. Anybody can compete and give us a better price. I think that's a yes, isn't it? That's yes, it is. And I would like to also caution that there's no consistency in what a price entails in this market. So when you look at prices, make sure you're looking at the same apples to apples price, and it includes all pricing components.
And that's why I asked about the aggregation, or you mentioned the aggregation costs. Are there any transmission and distribution costs, or is it just the aggregation fee?
No, there's always transmission and distribution costs, but those are regulated and nobody can discount those. They're not allowed to be discounted. So wherever you go, whoever you buy from in the market, you're going to pay the same for your transmission and distribution costs.
And those will be above and beyond the kilowatt price?
Yes. This is strictly the energy cost. The only part of the market that's competitive is energy. Everything else is still regulated. There's 3 components to the bill. There's the commodity cost, the distribution cost, and taxes. Taxes and distribution costs are statutory, so everybody would be the same. It would be the commodity charge. And in the commodity charge, there are additional charges that go in there. Some people say, well, wait a minute, how many connections do you have? You have 30 connections. Well, I want to charge you so much for each for each meter. So there's a lot of other components that I think, looking at the bills, that come into play in addition to the raw cost of the electricity. Is that a yes? Is that a true? Yes. Yes.
I don't have any other questions.
So to finalize and recap this, because this is obviously very important because we spent over $2 million for electricity, your recommendation is we go to a short-term, maybe 1-year contract for now.
yes, we think going to shorter term procurements is a better approach than a long-term fixed price contract. Correct.
Yeah, I have no other questions myself. Well, let's go back to our, so there's no action to be taken, correct, Marty? This was information only?
For 2A. I believe 2B and C do require action, Judge.
Okay, well, Marty, what action should we take on this thing?
On A.
I'm sorry, I thought you couldn't hear me. Okay, action on A does not have to happen today. It can happen prior to the end of the month. That's what Ms. Summerreeve was telling us, and I wanted the court to be sure and understand that items B and C give us a window of opportunity to see what comes in to make the decision on A, if you want to put it in that type of summary.
I'll open it up to the commissioners and see what their wish is.
I'm still digesting this. I'd like a little bit more time since they say that we have to the end of the month, just to see if we can learn more about this.
Okay. You want to postpone it until next week then?
Judge, if I may, on items B and C, there is a deadline that would make it more appropriate to take this up on the meeting of the 24th before the end of the month. You'll see by the deadlines that are imposed on B and C that would give you the best information to make a decision on the two options.
Yeah. Based on what I have heard, I totally agree with Commissioner Cantu that for us to go out and look for a better price always makes good sense. I mean, how can anybody say no to that? So I think we should do that. Number two, knowing a little bit about this and what's happening out there in the market, I agree with TCAP that a shorter period of contract will put us in a better position as far as price. Today, those are my two feelings as to what I think we should do.
I'm okay with that, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, so no action on 2A until another couple of meetings. All right, going on to item B, is requesting authority to release a request for information for indicative pricing for electric energy for Hidalgo County effective 1/1/23 to interested vendors. Could I have action?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, we have made some research. We have a list of over 30 vendors we can distribute the RFI to. The indicative pricing deadline for submission would be November the 18th. And the pricing is based on the close of business on November 17th, so that everyone would give us the same pricing. That is for the Commissioner's Court's information. And it is also on the documents that are going to be released. So item B was approved. Item C, approval of the following documents reviewed by the civil section, the DA's office with authority as the purchasing director, myself or Ms. Dina Trevino, assisting purchasing director, to sign 1 letter of authorization to be issued to the vendors and 2 letter of designation by Hidalgo County to the vendors.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B1, precinct 1, authority to advertise and approval of procurement packets, specifications and requirements, etc., as attached here to for Hidalgo County for the project titled Hauling Services for All Road Materials, including the re-advertisement if necessary.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
On item B2, we'll have no action. It'll be placed on the next Commissioners Court agenda as we didn't have all the information required. Item C1, Precinct 3. This is, if applicable, pursuant to the Hidalgo County's elected officials expenditure policy, requesting approval to proceed with motor pool facility concrete paving improvements through vendor Regional Concrete in the amount of $36,480. It was secured through 3 quotes.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do I have a second? Did I hear a second? We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D1, Precinct 4A, authority to purchase heavy equipment detailed herein through Hidalgo County's membership through Board Purchasing Cooperative Program, awarded vendor Doggett heavy machinery under the contract is posted. A new Dynapack CPI 200W pneumatic tire roller in the amount of $87,751.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B is authority to purchase the heavy equipment detailed herein through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op, awarded vendor Doggett machinery under contract number is posted. John Deere C31310 SL backhoe loader in the amount of $90,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
2A is recommendations by both project engineer and concurrence by the project architect for approval to cease negotiations with the #1 ranked contractor, Soso Gonzalez Construction, in connection with the request for competitive seal proposals titled Design and Construction of a New Mechanic Shop.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B is requesting authority for purchasing department and lead professionals to commence negotiations with the second ranked firm of NM Contracting for the same project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E for IT, 1 is requesting approval to purchase equipment through NetSync Network Solutions, Cisco Network Hardware, under DIR contract as posted in the amount of $86,414.70 and NetSync Network Solution cables under the DIR contract as posted, $1,734.40.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item E2, approval to lease as opposed to 73 should be 72 new laptops, purchase mounting hardware for constables' patrol vehicles and installation services through the county's membership and participation through the DIR TSO 3763 with Dell Marketing for the Information Technology Department. Lease laptops not to exceed price of $4,372.21 as we have reduced the amount for 36 months, mounting hardware in the amount not to exceed $115,708.34 and installation services of $59,000 not to exceed $981.03.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item F1A, approval of exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 262-024A4, a professional service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item B, pursuant to Government Code 2254, demonstrated confidence, acceptance, and approval of a negotiated contract as posted on the agenda with John Lung, MD, for the provision of physician services for inmates for the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Vale?
Judge, Commissioners, yes, item 18, 1 and 2, there's no action to be taken. this week at Commissioners Court. I will ask to take item 19 after closed session. Judge, we do have closed session.
Okay, pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.087, we need to retire to closed session to discuss those items in closed sessions. I have a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. It is now 11:30 and we'll be retiring to closed session. Any action items to be taken will be taken when we return. Okay, we're back from closed session and I do believe we have a couple of action items, Bradley.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, under open session 22A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there is no action to be taken. 22B, pending and or potential litigation, there is no action to be taken. 22C, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding response to public health emergency. Judge Commissioners, I will refer back to item 19 in a couple of minutes. Item 22D under open session, cause number C 2525-17-I. Jose Pablo Luna versus Hidalgo County, Texas. Judge Commissioners, we will proceed as directed. For the record, Judge Commissioners, there's no action to be taken under 21A and 21B. Again, no action, 21A and 21B. Judge Commissioners, I will refer back to item 19, Item 19, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding A, county response to disaster health emergency. 1, CARES Act funds. There is no action to be taken this week. Item 19B, measures necessary to preserve public health and safety. Again, no action to be taken. And item 21C, direction regarding county government operations, including but not limited to essential functions. Judge Commissioners, as I've stated, week in and week out, we continue to follow CDC recommended guidelines, social distancing, facial coverings. The health and safety of our residents when visiting our offices is first and foremost, as well as our employees. And again, we have been now for quite some time. We are fully staffed at our offices with very, very few exceptions. And so with that being said, Judge Commissioners, I do believe we have covered all agenda items.
Okay, well, we have a motion to adjourn.
Yes, sir. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 We are now adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Happy birthday, Judge.
Thank you very much, David.
Have a great birthday, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Commissioner.